Hi, I'm Mark from Maxava. I'm going to present some information about our products.
Maxava HA Release Update, September 2021. Enhancements. HA Activity Log. New HA activity logging has been added that will keep track of add, change, and delete activity for data configurations. This will help support staff when investigating certain reported issues to see the order and steps that have been performed, which can help diagnostics and rectifying the issue. The activity log is treated similar to various Maxava logs and can be cleaned up using type *message with the MX configure cleanup command. There will always be a default 60-day on the logging. The activity log data can be viewed through the MX work replication command hist option. The data stored in the HA activity log will allow the support staff to view activity and events leading up to certain problems that may be reported. HA Protection Library Summary Report. A Protection Library Summary Report is now available, and this will list all libraries and their HA protections for the system that the report runs on. The summary for each library will show no protection, partial protection, or full protection. If the library has protection, then the Maxava HA configuration name will also show alongside the library display. Use the Maxava HA reporting MX HA RPT command to produce the summary report. More reporting is planned for future PTF packages. The MX HA RPT command will produce the report on the system you run it on. You can view the spool file data, and this will show you the output that's generated. At the top of the report, it will show you your current Maxava product PTF level and your license key expiry. Then the list of databases or libraries on the system and an HA status for the libraries. When a library is shown as being full or partial support, then the Maxava configuration related to that database will also be listed. As indicated, further reports will be added to Maxava PTFs in the future. New *all option for the MX start configuration command. The new value of *all for configuration name has now been added as support for the command. This will allow all configurations and all configuration types to be activated when *normal activation is being utilized with the *all selection. Also, new all option for N command, MX N-config command, has also been added. The new specifier value *all for configuration names on the end request will shut down all configurations. Just note, when using the N command with *all config, because certain configs are different types, not all the ending values will be supported across all configurations. If it's not supported, then the ignore will be used, but the config will still be ended. *all configuration name now supporting in the MX start config command. *all config name now supporting in the MX N config command. Maximum number of receivers included when using receiver range *current. When reading receivers, it is common to use the receiver range *current to identify the receivers we are interested in. The receiver range specified use an IBM API to read the receivers and place locks on all the receivers needing to be read. There is a limit of 2045 receiver locks, and if this is exceeded, then the read functionality will fail and we will not be able to process the data. In the past, this would require the related Maxava configuration to require a new reset start point to skip past receivers until it's below 2045. It is not common to exceed 2045 receivers, but this can occur if the replication has been suspended for a lengthy period of time. The fix now is that the condition will now be changed to read in a fixed receiver process. Once the fixed receiver processes below 2045, we will revert back to using the receiver range star current, and so resolving the issue of having to reset the configuration. The text user interface work with configuration jobs. From the MX Work RPL display, you can now work with all associated configuration batch jobs with the new option 18 feature. From the job display, for each individual job, you can work with the job, display the job log, or save the job log. When saving the job log, the display job log will prompt. You can use the default star print option, or you can change the settings before running the command. From the MX Work replication display, I can toggle through function 23, and it will show me the command config jobs 18 option at the top. I can place 18 against the config name, and it will show me the related batch running jobs. I can work with the jobs, display the jobs, or I can print the job log. From the display 23, I can actually go into option 18. I don't actually have to bring 18 at the top. It's valid for any access into the MX Work replication display. New primary configurations end at role swap completion. At the end of the role swap process, the primary configurations will now automatically end, which was a customer request. In the past, the primary configuration would stay active and you would end them through a scripting process at the end of the role swap. This is now part of the role swap activity to end primary config. Cluster maintenance. A copy record function has been added to the cluster table maintenance. The cluster table holds the node details and generally identical with reverse node names. The copy option will present as a new add, and what you copy from will be reversed on the add display, so you can simply accept or make more changes as required. My configuration cluster table has a single entry already added, which is AKL test 2, AKL test 2 to AKL test 3. If I add an additional one, I will have to put all the information back in. If I use the option 3 copy feature, the AKL test 3, AKL test 3 2 has now automatically been reversed, and I can simply accept the defaults. And now I can add 2 entries into my cluster table, both directions that I'm role swapping from and to. Starting Patrol Max from the command line. The Patrol Max command has options that can be used from the command line, star end or star refresh, but there's also the star start option, which can be used but will then become part of the interactive process, and it will lock up the session as the Patrol Max start functionality is running interactively. The use of the start option has now been validated that will only work as a batch running job. If it's attempted as an interactive section, it will now not be able to be performed. Attempting to use the start option interactively now will now have a default message that this is not able to be performed in an interactive mode. Using the MX manage SRS command. This can be a long-running request, and if you run from the command line, it will tie up the interactive session and may not complete if the session drops out. This command now only executes when run as a batch running request. An exception message will now be sent if tried to be run from interactively. Attempting to use the MX manage star start option now from the command line will now provide a informational message that this cannot be performed. You will need to submit it as a batch running task. Other items addressed. The MXN config system star remote request was not passing the enable trigger option across to the target machine. This has now been corrected, and the remote option will now allow the triggers to be managed. Audit of menu objects could loop. Some systems may have a different CSID being processed through when we collect the menu description. This was causing an error and has now been corrected. Audit of virtual devices not handling missing device correctly. When a virtual device was identified, it was not correctly sending through a resync request. This has now been corrected. Content audit pointer error. On some occasions, the content audit was creating a machine check 3601 pointer error. This has now been resolved. Intermittent issues with data configurations during role swap. On rare occasions, some environments will not see the role swap request correctly. The information seems to be appearing but not being read, and it's not understood why. New tracing functionality has been added to give more information. Folder and document authority. Some folders with public authority with authority list was not being set correctly. This has now been corrected. QDLS orphan audit. On some occasions where the source folder was empty and data existed on the target, the orphan was not seeing this correctly. This has now been corrected. Spool file replication using the audit journal. Some events and timing was not being catered for when receivers were being changed regularly in the system audit journal. This process has now been corrected and now processes the system audit journal data no matter how quick the receivers roll through. Please refer to the cover letter for more details. The features mentioned in this video are available from the following Maxava software versions by installing the PTF listed below. Thank you for your time.